Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we wrap up the weapon class countdown series with the top 10 legendary rocket launchers in Borderlands 3, and if you haven't, feel free to check out the others. Today these are the best of the best when it comes to making things go boom, and I'll be telling you where you can get them, explaining what they do, and give you tips on how to maximize their damage so you can drop that boss in one shot. We'll be starting a new series next week counting down the top weapons for each weapon brand, and do let me know in the comments which manufacturer should be up first. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and if you're enjoying the content and you're not subscribed, hitting that sub button really would be great. Don't forget to tell me what your most underrated launcher is, and let's crack into it. We open this countdown of the top 10 rocket launchers in Borderlands 3 with the Freeman, a non-elemental single-shot launcher that can only be dropped by the Warden you fight around here in the Anvil. The Freeman kinda looks like a futuristic lawnmower, and it kind of acts like one too, if lawnmowers fired rockets to cut grass. It fires a single decently powered rocket which follows your crosshairs until they impact. It's a pretty cool effect, although a little unnecessary, but if they move during its flight you can recalibrate to ensure it still hits. It's a pretty standard rocket launcher without much to it. It doesn't consume as much ammo as the rest, has a decent fire rate, works well with the overkill guardian rank skill, and I think its first name is Morgan. Next up is the Plumage, another non-elemental launcher. This one belongs to DLC 3 and has an increased chance to drop from Rendon-esque. You fight around here in the blast plains. The Plumage can light up the field in an instant, firing an array of mini rockets which home in on anyone tagged by its tracker rounds. The projectiles need to travel a short while before their homing effect is triggered, and they'll veer off at crazy angles to hunt them down. Although they might not seem like a lot, when they all hit, they land with force, often sending your enemies flying. Although you can hit your targets when the track rounds aren't in effect, it isn't very practical, making it reliant on its secondary mode. With it you don't even need to aim, just input the coordinates of your targets and shoot at the sky while their health bars quickly disappear. Moving on to number 8 with the Mongol, a Vladov launcher that can come in any element including non-elemental, and can only be dropped by Thunk and Sloth, who you fight around here in Conrad's Hold. The Mongol was hidden in the game files for a long time before it finally awoke from its slumber, allowing us to hold it in our hands. It fires a single rocket that splits off into a cluster after travelling a short distance. It's kind of like the Leuda in that way, as you'll get much more out of it after the rocket breaks apart. Judging that distance correctly will have the single rocket burst into a swarm which envelop your prey and do some hefty damage. It consumes 2 ammo per shot, and like most launchers, it's great on modes, as you can enhance its fragmented explosives for even more power. Number 7, and it's the Scourge, a Torg launcher that can come in all available flavours and has an increased chance to drop from Broodmother. You fight around here in the Pyre of the Stars, although her spawn is often glitched. The Scourge fires a single slow moving rocket which is matched in flight by a horde of smaller projectiles which circle around it. They grow in numbers the longer it travels, but will begin to lose steam after a short while. The spiraling projectiles will veer off into nearby enemies if they're close enough, and it does have decent damage potential. However, it does consume 4 bullets per shot, which is a lot, but it is a respectable choice if you're after a traditional launcher with some added spice. The Tunguska finds itself in 6th place, another Torg launcher which can only come non-elemental, and has an increased chance to drop from Mincemeat. You fight around here in the Droughts as part of the quest Skag Dog Days. The Tunguska is a brilliant gun, firing weapon capsules that house a mountain of explosives which burst skyward upon detonation. That unique effect makes for some high power, much more than you'd think from the card. Because it's made by Torg, you can switch between sticky and impact modes, with sticky being the most productive and is definitely your best option while bossing. Stick a couple to your target, trigger its reload, and watch as they and anyone around them blow apart. For maximum damage, you'll want to couple a high mag size with a ×2 variant, which doubles the bonus you get from its sticky mode, and will comfortably annihilate many enemies you'll encounter. Halfway through now, and it's the Globetrotter, an elemental COV launcher which can only be dropped by Scourge the Invincible, the final boss of the Guardian takedown. Because the Globetrotter is manufactured by COV, it's not what you'd expect. It's not a rocket launcher, but a blade launcher, firing a line of them which tear after your enemies. Each shot consumes just the 1 ammo, and it has a high fire rate, although you can get a ×6 version which consumes 2 ammo per shot for double the blades. The blades don't stop on impact, instead they'll launch into the air and crash back down multiple times for even more damage. The blades have a mind of their own, zipping over the floor and into whatever is in their way. That includes you. Because it's locked to the floor and not the air, it does limit the types of enemies you can fight, but that doesn't stop it from raising hell wherever you take it. Number 4, and it's none other than the Iron Cannon, another Vladif launcher which can also come in all elements including kinetic, and can only be found in DLC 1 by defeating the Fabricator at the very end of Jack's secret. Since its inception, the Iron Cannon has been a damaging rocket launcher, firing not rockets but deadly plasma beams. To get maximum damage out of it, you'll want to hold down that trigger until the barrel begins to glow. It consumes a mammoth 6 ammo per shot at the very least, with the annexed version consuming 7, and that's the one you'll definitely want to get. Just leave the others on the floor. It can hit devastating crits with deadly precision, perfect for bossing or crit swapping, and has a wide splash damage radius, allowing you to hit them where it hurts and have their friends feel it too. In third place is the Major Kong, another gun made by COV. This one can come in all the elements including none, and can only be dropped by Psycho Reaver and Valhalla as part of DLC 4. The Major Kong, like the Iron Cannon, can be charged up to increase its strength, but in doing so it will consume more ammo. A standard version fires a single projectile, but you can get a ×2 variant which packs the mightier punch. Each projectile houses a damaging rocket which will seek out enemies on impact. While mobbing, it's overkill, but it's perfect for eliminating bosses. The impact force is phenomenal, but it can be a little tricky focusing that on one area. The missiles don't fly straight or for very long, and the housed rockets can get stuck, but when it all comes together, it's hard to find something more damaging than this. At number 2 is the Plague Bearer, a gun made by Torg that, like all Mayhem 6 Plus weapons, can be obtained from the Guardian takedown bosses, but you'll get it quicker by defeating the Warden you fight here in the Anvil. The Plague Bearer consumes 3 ammo per shot and must be charged before you can fire, which does slow it down a bit, but each round causes some insane levels of destruction. After each shot lands, carnage ensues as a deadly rift is opened, sucking all nearby enemies towards it. From the rift, homing projectiles are fired, which seek out all unsuspecting foes, dealing heavy damage. Not only do they home in after impact, but also during flight, allowing you to fire it right through the heart of your enemies, and watch as the projectiles dive bomb their prey before the main orb even lands. That makes it a monster on the mobbing front, the best launcher in that scenario. But it doesn't lack anything while bossing either. You just need to position the orb correctly, so your target feels the full brunt of its force. Before number 1 is uncovered, let's dive into an honorable mention, and there's just one again today, and that's the Hive, a Torg launcher that always comes in corrosive and can only be dropped from Tarantella II you fight here in the Splinterlands. The Hive is just plain cool, a launcher unlike any other. It doesn't fire rockets but living hives which unleash a swarm of mini projectiles that ravage any nearby enemies. Fire enough of them and the area will be covered in locusts, which don't hunt plants but people. Each shot consumes 4 ammo, but there's definitely more than that's worth of devouring going on. It's not the greatest on the damage front, but it does provide a pretty amazing spectacle. Not available now due to it being locked within the cartel event is the Yellow Cape, a CIV launcher that would definitely make this list. When it arrived it was a god, but it did get nerfed not long after, so it'll be interesting to see where it places. We just have to wait about a couple of months. We're here, we did it together, and who's at the top? It's the Backburner, voted by you, and edging the Plague Bearer by a good third. You can get one the quickest by farming the Agonizer 9000 at the end of the Guts of Carnivora. Like the Plague Bearer, the Backburner is an elemental launcher coming in all available elements, and it consumes 3 ammo per shot, but it fires much quicker. Each shot of the Backburner is packed tight with elemental ignition. When each shot lands, a singularity is formed, opening up a world of hurt onto your enemies. Mobs will be sucked into the impact zone as a barrage of damaging elemental orbs rain down upon them. The arcing nerve grenades pound the ground in a wide area, dealing the brunt of its damage, and combined with the singularity make it good at dealing with tightly packed groups. Every Vault Hunter can make great use of it. Zane can fire 2 for 1 with playing dirty, Black can get the secondary projectiles hitting crits, and Modes and Amara can enhance the splash damage it provides. It excels on the bossing front, capable of destroying many of them with ease, and will decimate a group of mobs with a single tap of the trigger. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the top 10 legendary rocket launchers in Borderlands 3. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.